In this episode, we collect water, we scrub the incredible gross and slimy deck, and build what every other catamaran has: a roof. Hi, my name is Anna, and this is my husband Leif Erik. He came up with this idea: to build a simple catamaran, put it in a container and send it from ice-cold Norway to Tahiti in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. This way we could start sailing in paradise. I said, what a crazy idea. Let's do it. This is the adventure of building and sailing BareBare. And the story starts when finally coming back after 3 years of the pandemic. Rain, lovely rain. It was pouring down again. Giant amounts of water hit the big roof of BareBare and flowed towards the 2 openings, down through the hose before it splashed into blue buckets, or into a huge orange tub that contained laundry. On our first trip in 2019, we did not have a roof on BareBare. We had even made huge hatches to keep open in the tropics. We thought the sun would be shining from sunrise to sunset, nice and warm every day, always sun. But one day, all of a sudden, the sky turned black. It started blowing and we heard a loud sound of thunder. We had bought crabs for lunch and even decided to have a glass of wine. Quickly, we had to put on our rain gear. And the tarp had to be tied down almost to the deck to not blow away. And we had to sit very low underneath it. And from below, through the deck planks, it was blowing hard and even some splashes of water would hit us. But luckily, we were both wearing heavy rain gear. Leif Erik looked rather sad and exclaimed, "This project hangs by a thread," or as we say in Norwegian, it hangs by a very thin thread. Something needs to be done. So the next day he briskly walked over to the local and also the one and only lumber store in Huahine, Huahine Import. Huahine Import was to become our favorite shop, and from now on we would go there every day buying things needed. Again, row out to BareBare and start building a roof. And sadly, I must add, most, or I would say even all and every catamaran do have a roof. So we could maybe have thought of it before. There were 2 holes in the roof of BareBare, each attached to a hose. On one side we used the blue buckets and sometimes bowls and pots and pans and even glasses. And I would happily yell, "Water! More water is coming! Find something! I need something for the water!" We both loved to collect rainwater. I would sometimes wake up at night to the sound of rain and would quickly open the hat and run out to start collecting. It was a wonderful feeling. In the middle of the night, getting soaking wet while doing something useful. Later, hitting the bed, satisfied and happy, and yes, wet. I wonder if anyone else out there have this crazy joy? In 2019, we found good drinking water from taps on land, but in Avea Bay, where we stayed for such a long time, we never found any water taps and ended up buying drinking water. For sure, it was heavy. You remember we had to travel 20 kilometers to go to the supermarket, and it was expensive. And also all that plastic waste. I mean, we did keep reusing the water bottles, but how many can one have? The wooden parts of BareBare had gone all gross and sticky. It was given to us by someone who wanted to change their porch deck with new and pressure-treated wood. When we built the deck and cut the wood, it being rather grey on outside, it turned out to be completely brown inside. We then realized it was something called ebony. And ebony is a way of pressure-treat wood in a natural way, using liquid extracted from bio-waste from production of sugar and corn. It was much better, it was long-lasting, better for the nature, and also much more expensive than what this person had decided to use for his porch. It was good for BareBare and especially good for nature. It ended up being quite a lot of work scrubbing the deck, but the wood looked as new after 3-4 times of effective and hard scrubbing. And even though we had lots of sweet water for this task, it was better to use salt water, because salt protects the wood as well. We had sewn the deck beautiful together with thin ropes of tar hemp, and it had taken very little damage from the sun and the rain. So from now on, people use only natural ropes. And later we cleaned the oak parts, the bulwark and the rubbing strake as well. And when the lovely rain started, I would change into my working clothes, one of the pareos, a piece of cloth that quickly became a dress, and I would go out in the rain and I would work and I would sing.
For the glorious feeling I'm happy again. I'm singing, I'm just singing in the rain. Dancing in the rain.
Most of our building was done in plywood. We first studied the designs and then transferred the drawings onto the plywood. With jigsaws, we would cut out all the pieces. We glued them together with a lot of epoxy and with a lot of clamps. And another good thing in a big workshop, a lot of clamps available. To make the rudders, we used 2 layers of 18mm plywood and added another layer on part of the top to make it even stronger in that area. We shaped the trailing edges for water to flow better, and each piece was coated with epoxy on both sides and then glued together. Then the rudders were covered with epoxy cloth. We added our own design on the top of each rudder, birds' heads that were supposed to look like dragons from Norwegian woodcutting tradition. I did the design, and I must admit it did not look 100% like the one I tried to copy, but they turn out rather charming. Since we gave everything on BareBare names, what were we to call the rudders? In Norway, we have a word for people who's standing on the ladder going down into a boat. It's a comfortable and warm place to be while sailing, but totally in the way for other people that might want to go inside for extra clothes or even go to the toilet. We call them lukefugl. It translates to hatchbird, but it doesn't mean the same in English as our totally in the way bird. So anyway, one of the rudders was called Lukefugl, and so which name did we give the other rudder? We decided that it should get another bird's name, and we called it Lurefugl, which actually means decoy bird in English. You know, the wooden or plastic ones hunters use to fool birds while hunting. It was such good names for both rudders. We tried out the rudders on the boat and went back to Jan's workshop to continue.
It's minus 12 at the moment. Feels like minus 20 due to the wind. And I'm now going to show you BareBare.
So you can see far behind there, they're taking the rudders out from the boat and taking them to Jan's workshop. It's a mockingbird and we're going to paint it. We're going to put it on Oddvar's car. Endelig.
Are you happy?
Yes. This is my color.
Guantanamo color.
Guantanamo. For each rudder we made a tiller, and the tillers were made in oak and beautifully shaped and rounded. And Oddvar took his pride in these tillers, and I think they got at least 20 layers of varnish. He also lashed ropes around for better strength and decoration. And the tillers were connected together with a long orange tiller bar, so that we could steer both rudders at the same time. The steering would be done sitting down on the hatch to one of the toilets with your legs down in the actual toilet room. If whoever was steering needed to go to the toilet, someone else would just sit down at the other tiller and take over the steering. And with flat sea, we could do the steering standing up, and I must admit, feeling and looking rather cool. We did put lots of love and effort into the rudders, carving out eyes and painting them very beautiful. And the rudders were to be connected to the hulls with 6mm ropes. So we drilled holes in the rudders, which would match the holes in the hulls, and with good quality rope, we later lashed it all together. It was almost like sewing. And we would later use the same method on hinges on the boat. It was simple and cheap, but also metal hinges, they would rust quickly. Thank you for watching this video. I put out new videos every second Friday, and Fridays in between I put out a short story of the building part. If you like what you see, subscribe and hit the buttons, and it's free. And if you want to support me, check out Patron, PayPal or Coffee. And patrons get the videos earlier, and they also get some extra material. And beside that, I have started making mugs for each episode. Check them out and please start collecting. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And you will find all links in the description below. Massive thanks to everyone who supports this project. It makes a huge difference.